off the bat, and I almost got into trouble already. It's going to be a good show, I feel like. How about you, Jerk?
I'm ready to read my ballot live on air.
All righty, let's go. So, how did we feel about that intro there?
That was awesome.
That was just for you, sir.
That was that might have been the coolest thing I've ever seen. As much as I love our theme song, for this week only, I'm more than happy to put it on pause.
Nice. Welcome back to the unedited, unfiltered, uncensored, commercial-free Sharks podcast. It is the Pucknologists here on Teal Town, USA, or as I guess what we're calling it, the Erik Karlsson Show Part 2. This time around, we got 3 games for you coming from home. But first, remember, as always, if you're new to the podcast, remember to subscribe, follow us on social media, and if you'd like to join in the chat, make sure to subscribe. Thank you, bots, for ruining some of the last few podcasts. So now it's like, no, we got to make sure you're subscribed here. And how great would that be if all those bots subscribe to us? You can help support the content we deliver, keep us commercial free using the super chat option during live shows or by using Venmo, which you can find us at Teal Town, USA. Remember, your donations keeps the cast free of silly commercials. We like that. If you're not watching live on YouTube, make sure to add your take in the comments section of this video. And while you're there, hey, give it a thumbs up. And as always, not here to change your mind, people, only to offer our thoughts. And yes, we're going to be giving away a lunchbox a little bit later in the show.
I might try to change your mind.
All right. Well, hashtag tank together. Dude, you know things are bad when the bad boys bail bonds people aren't behind the Sharks bench.
No kidding.
Dude, what was the last time you saw that neon shirt?
I don't want to say when the last time I saw them was, because I think it might make some people feel a certain way.
All right.
You know, there's a certain we'll just say there's a certain playoff game that I saw them in their seats for.
Oh crap! Let's not. Instead, let's get into the week of Sharks hockey. We had 3 games this week. The Sharks went 0-for, and 3.
Awful.
2 against the Ducks. They crowbarred 1 against the Panthers in there. And so 14 games in, we're sitting at a 3-8-3 record with 9 points. Currently last in the Pacific. However, Anaheim, they're in the thick of it right now. That could change, but 31st out of 32 in the league by points percentage. And you have to think that, who thought that Columbus was going to be like the early leader to the basement? With Johnny Gaudreau and all of that.
Yeah, you thought maybe that they would. You thought maybe they'd take a step in the right direction, but I kind of feel like the Eastern Conference as a whole is better, and so somebody's got to be on the outside, right?
Dude, who saw New Jersey here? Who saw Pittsburgh here right now? This is it's a really weird start. I can't wait to kind of get the 30,000-foot view once we get a quarter way into the season. But yikes. Let's see. The first game, it's a 6-5 shootout. And look, EK, dude, you're wearing it on the shirt, man.
Mm-hmm.
Continues to be the player that I've been waiting forever for. I got to say, dude, he's coming through. First career hat trick. And then you got Myers stepping up this week. Chief falls down, gets back up, and scores on the power play. And has had a lot of luck this week. Silverberg scores a goal for him. I don't know. And Jerk called it. If you remember last week, I asked. I said, who's going to score next, Hertl or Meyer? And Jerk was just like, yeah, watch this.
My question is, did the intern get the clip, or do we have to just have people trust us that I said it?
Oh, let me see. Steven!
I wouldn't be surprised if Timo Meier got 2 goals before Hertl's next goal.
Hey now. Well, and they played the Ducks 2 out of the next 3 games, so
Holla.
boom,
Hmm.
boom.
Interesting development.
Called it. Called it. uh, anything else you can take away from this Anaheim game before we get to some clips?
I
I'm
mean,
sure you want to say something about putting Labanc out second in the shootout, or
well,
at all.
I mean, I'm kind of the sort of opinion that if you have a good player who's maybe they're in a funk, you want to keep them in a good position to get out of that funk. Put them with good players, put them in the right situations, and all that kind of stuff. But when you've done, I mean, yeah, he's had some good shifts, but you haven't been on the score sheet in forever, and we're supposed to just believe that you're going to get a goal in the shootout. Like, obviously, he has the skill to do so, as we saw in the second Anaheim game, but I would much rather put somebody who has scored a goal within the last few days in the shootout, just, for the obvious reasons. Um, it, I mean, at least he ended up coming through, right? But they lost. So ultimately, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Let me hit a couple things in the chat real quick. Sharks last. Any info on Ferraro? Not that I've heard.
Yeah, no, nothing.
And since they basically had today off and tomorrow off, probably won't hear anything until their practice on Tuesday. But
I was gonna say they don't play again until Thursday, so I have to imagine with how much travel they've done, we're gonna hear a whole lot of nothing probably until Tuesday at the earliest.
yeah, a big bird coming in hot. Finally playing like we've been paying him to play, and everybody's licking his crack.
Hey, you know what? You
Dude,
gotta
when you put up as many points as Karlsson has in the last 2 weeks, dude, I think you deserve a good tongue lashing.
well, and not only that, not only that, but we kind of talked about it last week as well, where the offense has obviously been there for Erik Karlsson. I mean, 19 points in 14 games, he got 10 goals. Just incredible offensive stats. But it's so much more than that too. We talked about he's blocking more shots. He's still not hitting as much as I would like him to, but he's hitting more. He's severely limited the amount of his takeaway to giveaway ratio. He's lowered that. It's been a complete. I don't want to put the cart before the horse here, but it's been a complete 180 in his all around game, not even just the offense.
Do you put any of this on Quinn, or is this just Karlsson finally being 100% healthy?
It's probably, I mean, honestly, it's probably a little bit of both. I mean, I think obviously the health is the biggest factor here. I mean, if how many years have we been saying it? Like, if you're not 100%, don't play. And finally, he seems to be 100%. And so just when you watch him on the ice, he's noticeably crisper, faster, smoother, all that good stuff. But I think a lot of it is system related as well. I mean, Kevin Lacey has been talking about forever that Burns and Karlsson, they sort of cannibalized each other.
Mm-hmm.
Whether they were both out there or whether they were together or whether it was separate. And so no Burns being on the team, it sort of put all the onus on Karlsson to make things happen from the blue line, and he's done that. But also, like we've talked about before, the way that he's being utilized is much different. Yes, you can point and say, well, his average time on ice is the highest it's been since he's been on the Sharks, and that's a true statement. You'd be correct in saying that, but he has played much more 5 versus 5 in power play than he has on the penalty kill. And
Is he
that
even on the kill?
well, and that's what I was going to say is it seems like he's almost been used very seldomly, and just looking right now in these 3 games, he played 16 seconds against Anaheim. The
And
Ducks had 4 power plays.
I was going to say, let me guess, that's him going out when there's 5 seconds left, right?
Yeah, he played 49 seconds against Florida. They had 3 power plays. He played no time against Anaheim 2.0. Granted, they didn't have any power plays, so I guess it doesn't matter in that situation. But he's being used. Yes, like overall, he's on the ice more than he's ever been, but he's being used in different situations. That allows his
Creativity,
skill set to flourish better.
Yeah. But despite the first career hat trick or whatnot, you can hear him, man. He's still like, yeah, I don't really care about this shit. I just want to win hockey games.
I think we just played a little bit too loose. We did a few good things, but I think we know how to play against teams that are, on paper much better than we are. We got to find a way to be able to play games like this where we still have to, play hard without the puck and find ways to, possess it more and be the leading team and lead this match. And today we didn't find a way to do that. I think that, they controlled, most part of the puck and had more possession than we did. And that's not how we want to play the games.
I feel like Karlsson would have had a little bit more to say had he not had to get back to the 1920s and get on his sell some papers.
So I got a stat for you. Are you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
So this season, the Sharks have played 14 games. Erik Karlsson has played in total 5 minutes, 5.1 minutes on the penalty kill. So what would 5 minutes and whatever, 5 minutes and 6 seconds, we'll say. Not much. If you prorate that over the course of the entire regular season, 82 games, and fingers crossed he makes it to 82 games, that will get him to 29.8 minutes on the penalty kill. For reference, in the hub season where Karlsson only played 52 games, he had double that on the penalty kill.
I know.
So you look at it like this: if he plays a full season, he's going to get half, and might I add, half of his Sharks career low in terms of minutes on the penalty kill. Because the first season he was on the Sharks when they went to the Western Conference Final, 107 minutes on the penalty kill, 166 minutes in the bubble season. So to me, that's kind of your X factor for why is Karlsson flourishing so much, is because he's not killing penalties as much. He's able to focus on 5 versus 5 power play, and again, not having Brent Burns take minutes away from him, take opportunities away from him. And I think it's sort of the perfect cocktail.
I remember, though, at a post game that they were asking about his PK minutes, and he went off saying, whether you guys think it or not, I'm a good PKer and blah 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 blah. It's just funny
maybe that's true.
Yeah, but it's just funny to see that his numbers just going through the roof, having insanely limited PK time. So
right. Well, and even if you want to just keep it recent, you want to crunch the numbers based on last year. Let's say he only gets to 50 games, which is what he played last year. That he's only on pace to hit 18.2 minutes on the penalty kill. Last year he was 74 minutes on the penalty kill in 50 games.
So I mean, you got to congratulate.
That'll do it.
You got to congratulate the guy. First career hat trick. That's didn't a different EK also have his first career hat trick as a Shark, if memory serves?
Yeah.
That's funny.
He had 4 games.
So go to San Jose to get your first career hat trick, I think is what they're saying. But afterwards, it's a great shot. I felt like the messages on the puck were a little much, perhaps. A little inappropriate, but
that's incredible. You need to send me that picture.
I thought it was a little inappropriate, but I get it. It's awesome. Understood. It's understood.
Did you do that, or is that the Puck Guy special?
I requested that the Puck Guy do that.
Nice. Shout out to Eric.
Yeah, but there we go. The one thing that seemed to be spoken about the most during that first game against Anaheim is his name. Barbonov? Is it Barbanov? Is it Barbona? I think it's Barabanov, but I can't be sure. Also, who the hell is Rodham Shimmick?
Well, if it makes you feel any better, whenever I call you on my iPhone, the phone always says back to me, calling Adge Strong, because it doesn't understand AJ. So, nice. names are hard for people, and I think you'll see that. You see that across the board, that names can be hard.
What's even harder for some people is just I guess, situational awareness and where we're at in the game. Like when, I don't know, I think Erik Karlsson needed to score in order to continue the game, but broadcaster felt differently.
So if Karlsson scores here, Cassie, this one is over. All the pressure now on Stolars. Stolars with a little fist pump. And there you have it. The Anaheim.
And there you have it. We just said it was going to be the.
Yeah. I don't know. Everybody makes mistakes. I don't really.
Oh, I get that.
Not that big of a deal.
I get that, but there's it was just, I don't know, just kind of funny. I don't have a problem with her calls, like I and this will probably bake a lot of people's noodle. Aside from a couple of flubs like that, like I would take her over Doc Emmerich.
I think there's a lot of people I would take her over.
Oh well, see, there you go.
Everybody has, everybody has their strengths and their weaknesses, and that's kind of it. I mean, I'll be totally honest with you. Like I'm a big fan of Cassie Campbell, which I think influences quite a bit. But the broadcast team that we had for the Anaheim 1 game and the Florida game, I would take it over the Sharks broadcast. I'll be totally honest with you.
Oh, damn. Well, there was just a couple things that just kind of rubbed me. Hextall has I don't know if it's just a crutch or whatever, but she says that he has or that they did. There's a lot of that for some reason. I'm not sure why. But the thing that really gets me is that her inflection, the way she calls the game, I swear to God, dude, it sounds like she's on a local station in the morning like, we'll see some morning precipitation leading into a breezy afternoon for your drive home. And now here's Dan Davidson with your sports. Dan? Like there's a very kind of local morning news affect to her delivery, but I don't know. I don't think she's worth the vitriol she receives. I don't think she's nearly that bad, but hey, we can all use reps. It's all good. There was a little historic note for this Anaheim game. It was the lowest attended Sharks game in Sharks history. Huge. Beating a game versus the Sabres back on November 2nd, 2021 by 1. And there was also some interesting horn blasts over I don't know who's running the horn at SAP, but was it Tampa? That Tampa scored and they accidentally blew. It was
Yeah.
And then it used to be for the longest time there'd at least be 2 horn blasts when the Sharks score. And now it seems like there's just one. I guess we're saving energy. Is that what it is? I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. Truthfully, I actually haven't noticed.
All right. Well, another good thing for that game, the Sharks, or at least on this week, Sharks power play is starting to come alive. That's nice. 1 for 3 against Anaheim, 1 for 2 against Florida, but that was you had a 5-minute power play for Florida, and Meyer's goal was 5-on-3. So you would hope that they would score in there. Florida, Reimer comes back into that now. Kakinen, I don't know. Where do you hang it on him? Because Kakinen, how responsible is he for the first Anaheim 1.0 loss when you allow 5 goals? And I thought he was absolute garbage in the shootout. Like Zegras and Terry were just like, excuse me while I just tuck this behind you. I don't know. How much do you hang on Kakinen?
It's hard to say because pretty much since he's been on the Sharks, he's put up really good goaltending that has been for nothing because the Sharks have not been able to help him out. Obviously, you pointed to the Anaheim 1.0 game where you think usually 5 goals is enough to win. But I don't know. I still, just because of the skill that he has, obviously, and kind of the hand that he's been dealt, I still try to give him the benefit of the doubt because the only difference that I've noticed between his game and Reimer's game has been, Reimer's ability to make a spectacular save now and again. But in terms of the goals they allow, I haven't really noticed a stark sort of contrast one way or the other.
Well, Reimer got after kind of not total ping-ponging, but a little bit of off and on. Now it's Reimer two straight. Wouldn't surprise me if Reimer goes against St. Louis as the Sharks.
See, I disagree. I think Kakkonen will go.
Oh, yeah, actually, yeah, because St. Louis has fallen off a fucking cliff. I think you're completely correct.
Well, not only that, but with Kakkonen, for all intents and purposes, Kakkonen is the goalie of the future. Like, you're not doing yourself any favors by punishing him for a loss, especially when, like we've talked about all year, the Sharks are going to lose more than they win. And, we talked about all summer and into the season, we talked, just let Kakkonen play consistently, regularly, regardless of the outcome. The Sharks are a bad team, no matter how you slice it. Just play Kakkonen. He's your goalie of the future. Get him reps. Get him as the number one. And
is he the goalie of the future?
I would say so.
Well, I don't know. Well, I know that Quinn said, once it's just whoever stops the puck more is going to start more. Right now, that seems to be Reimer.
Yeah, but eventually, once the playoff picture becomes crystal clear, that's going to change.
Yeah.
And I look forward to the Kakkonen and Dell tandem after the trade deadline.
Absolutely. I'm hoping for that. What's going on with Svechnikov? That was my guy like a week or so ago when we were doing Heroes of the Week. And then he gets scratched. He went from the top line to being scratched.
He was brutal against Anaheim 1.0. Like, he got yanked off that line because he was so brutal. And, I will admit he's outperformed my expectations for him. And I know you're going to scratch your head when you look and see that he has 2 goals. But yes, he outperformed my expectation for him. So I get what you're saying, but like, just looking, I would still rather have Noah Gregor in the lineup over him. I know Lindblom's been brutal. He's probably been one of the worst, like, in terms of expectations, he's probably been one of the worst forwards on the team. I still would rather have him in the lineup over Svechnikov. But again, the bottom 6 for the Sharks has been incredibly fluid. So if Svechnikov can get back in against the Blues, okay. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, do you think Quinn has finally kind of like dialed in his top line that it's going to be Hertl, Meyer, and Labanc for the foreseeable future?
I mean, the way they were buzzing against Anaheim on Saturday, I don't have any issue with that. And even if you want to take it a step further, I thought Couture and Barabanov as a duo have looked really good. I wish that the third guy on that line, I wish that it was, I mean, literally anybody,
Svechnikov
right?
for Nieto.
I mean, on it, sure, I would put Svechnikov there. Svechnikov has scored a goal that actually looks like a goal scorer. But I would put anybody there. I would put Lindblom there. I would put Cunnin there. I would put Noah Gregor there. Like, I'd put Jonah Gadjevich there. Let's be totally honest. And that's not meant to be a slight on say, oh yeah, even Gadjevich, because I've actually thought Gadjevich has played really well this season. But it's just like, and I hate to say this because I'm sure Matt Nieto is a swell guy, but him getting traded away cannot come soon enough.
Jesus, tell me how you really feel.
I mean, well, because dude, episode 1 of the season, you said we know the Sharks are going to lose more than they win. I just want to see excitement. I want to see positive steps in the right direction, and a UFA penalty killing 4th line winger that has mannequin hands. That's not exciting. That's not building for the future. Like, again, the however many, the 4 or 5 players that I listed off, the guys who are going to be here after this year, put them up there.
And PJ coming in hot. Meanwhile, Aiden Hill's 5-0, 2.17 goals against, 925 save percentage.
So what you're saying then is
a goalie that has a much better team in front of him puts up better numbers?
I was going to say a goalie playing behind the best team in the league has good numbers. You don't say.
Oh, anything else about the Florida game?
Even though they ended up losing, I was very pleased to see the way the Sharks were able to battle back against a really good team.
Yes, clawed back, but once again, which seems to be a ongoing theme over the last, 2023 season, 22-23 season, is that the Sharks can claw back, but they can't hold that damn lead, which takes me to Anaheim 2.0, where they allowed 2 goals in the last 4 minutes. Like, all you had to do was just hold on to that lead, and then you make some brain farts and like figure out how to hold a lead, boys. And,
yeah, it's even if you're gonna lose, like, don't do it after you were ahead.
That's what I'm saying. And you played disciplined enough that you didn't even get called for a penalty.
Well, and as you alluded to, like, the top line was buzzing. All 3 of them had 3 points. You know, your number 1 defenseman looked really good. He got another assist.
And you got 52 shots on goal.
That too. I mean, and even, you know, Luke Cunnin, he's been very meh lately, but I still am optimistic for him. He got a goal on the power play. That's awesome. You know, like, the recipe was there for the Sharks to have a successful night. And to the point that you made of, like, forget anything, just hanging in there. Even that was too tall of an order. Like, even if they, like, even, okay, so Mason McTavish, he scores with about 4 minutes left. Okay.
Out of the box.
Yeah, out of the box.
No one picked that up.
Yeah, brutal mistake on the part of the Sharks. But you know what? It happened. Whatever. You just got to say, okay, we're still up by 1. Let's reset. They're going to pull their goalie. We'll bury 1. Boom, over with. And then they let,
and then what happened?
And then they let Adam Henrique come in. And you know, it's like the narratives, you know, and this is something that we've kind of, or at least I've been tracking, you know. So Adam Henrique, you know, he gets the game-tying goal in Anaheim 1.0. He had a goal. He had 2 goals, actually, in Anaheim 1.0. Like, all of his goals this season have been against the Sharks. and even then, and, you know, Max Comtois, you know, I threw it out on Twitter. I don't know if you saw, but, you know, Max Comtois does it to the Sharks again. You know, did you know that 33 NHL goals, you know, 9 of his goals are against the Sharks?
Only 9?
9 out of 30. Dude, over a quarter of his goals are against the Sharks. Like, you have to, my belief is that as a coach, you have to, you know, you need to sort of dig into those numbers and say, hey, this guy, be it Henrique, be it Comtois, they regularly kind of stick it to us. We need to not let that happen.
And you want to talk about, I don't know, sack carrying, whatever you want to call
Ball
it.
washing.
Dude, the fact that the Sharks lost 3 games this week, I mean, I don't know if you're aware of this, but at the end of every game, they name the 3 stars. The Sharks lost 3 games this week, and out of 9 stars, 1 of them was an opponent. Like, you of course give Karlsson the first star when he gets his hat trick. Absolutely. But this game against Anaheim, it's Labanc, Hurdle, and Karlsson. Henrique? No. Stolars? I don't know. I mean, I'm, you know, based on those numbers, it's pretty tough, but still, dude, 52 shots on goal.
That's what I was going to say. Like, yeah, okay, so
I just don't get it, man. Three Sharks in a losing effort for the 3 stars. I'm like, sure. But it reminds me of Vegas. I remember there was a couple times with Vegas where, you know, somebody threw, like, a goalie would shut out Vegas, and that goalie would still be the 3rd star.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. Like you said, when it comes to 3 stars, every team, they have the home cooking in their favor. So it's, you know, not to be like a big surprise, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Like,
well, Ian pointing at it says that it's because they already sent in their 3 stars before the comeback. I get that, but
well, yeah, because, you know, when most teams are up by 2 goals with 4 minutes left, you
they
don't
can
think
shut
it's
the
gonna,
shit down.
Yeah, you don't think it's gonna go sideways.
But good news for the Sharks. It was their 2nd sellout of the season, so they say.
I thought you were going to say good news is that they don't play till Thursday.
Also good news. But you can, maybe it's just me, but Quinn post game, that I got to say, dude, the more I hear Quinn post game, the more I'm just kind of like, yeah, I dig that this guy kind of puts it all out there. And however, though, watch this clip. And this is like 3 separate clips that are all kind of stitched together because I don't want to go through some extra BS, but listen to these answers. Tell me he's not, or at least that you don't get the idea that he might be biting his tongue, like he wants to say more.
Here we are at the end of a power play. You put guys out there, and we just make a saucer pass from the corner to a guy in the middle of the blue line, and they go on a breakaway. And it's just, it's learning, and sometimes you've got to learn and feel this type of pain before you actually stop playing that way and doing the things we've done. And it's just, it's very disheartening because of the result, very encouraging from the way we played, but I feel for our guys big time because you want to talk about a physical and mental effort, and we talked about it before. We continue to feel like we're going the right direction, but Jesus, do we shoot ourselves in the foot. We just made a really bad decision. We had total control of the puck. Those guys knew they were out there at the end of a power play, and we tried to make an offensive play. That's all there was to it. Guys that shouldn't be doing it. And sometimes you have to suffer to this extent to change your approach. And that's really all it was to it because, everybody played well tonight for the most part. I mean, it wasn't, the sad thing is they make a bad play like that, but they have good games, But at the end of the day, when you make a play of that magnitude, it's, it hurts. It hurts. So, it just, you got to know the situation when you go out there. And too often lately, and I don't want to, too often we aren't aware of it, which is a mental thing, and we've got to keep harping on it. But listen, we're making bad mistakes at bad times, and it's different people, right? It's not one guy.
I don't know, dude. There's a couple times where he's like going, it's like he almost wants to say, it's this guy,
right?
who's making things tough for us, man.
Well, and as it's way too, like from a coach's perspective, it's way too early to start carving guys. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. But I just love the fact, dude, he's like 5 seconds away from, we need to stop stepping on our own dicks around here, okay?
Right. Well, and that's the thing is just, I like the approach he's taken because, even though the Sharks, since they've not been a good team, under Bob and now under David Quinn, they've found a way to stick around. Even when they're completely out of the game, they stick around. But at the same time, there's too many of those just kind of mental lapses, where it's just like you're watching. And again, we are not players. We're not coaches. We're not anything except fans who somehow get to talk about the game. And, we're kind of watching at home like, what the hell did I just watch? And the prime example is what David Quinn was talking about, at the end of that power play where Mason McTavish ended up scoring. Like, there was a reason why when the goalie smacks their stick on the ice when the power play is going to expire, is so you have a heads up. Hey, guys coming out of the box, maybe don't throw it up this way. And then not only that, I thought, just the personnel that are out there, like that was a pass. I believe it was, I want to say it was from Nieto to Lawrence, and then it obviously skipped over Lawrence's stick and went straight to Mason McTavish. But like at the end of a power play, when the guy's coming out of the box and you're not really the guys looked at for offense, I don't know that I'd be trying the quick snap pass up to the top. You know what I mean?
Again, it's the idea of just play simple. It's all you have to do. You don't have the talent. You don't.
Well,
so you need to outthink the other team. You have to be smarter in those situations.
Yeah, exactly. And especially, again, when you're up by 2 goals, obviously you should never take your foot off the gas. But when you're up by 2 goals and it's the end of the game, like, Drew Mendes said, the situational awareness, knowing how much time is left and knowing what's going on, you need to know, hey, we're up by 2. The game's almost over. We cannot do anything dumb. And that's what happened.
Can't get Quinn his 100th NHL win yet. Sad.
And here's the thing, like Quinn, I know people are there's been conversation of, is Quinn a transitional coach? You know what I mean? Just because of Ryan Warsofsky being on the bench, and
solid.
So people have asked that question. But regardless, here's the thing, like with David Quinn, his contract, it's for 3 years. So this year and 2 after. He's not going anywhere. Like, he's seeing it all the way through. So like he's just going to say whatever he needs to say. And you know what? And again, I'm not saying that any of this is true. This is all hypothetical, but let's just say, Nick Bonito comes out and is like, man, you know what? I'm really tired of hearing David Quinn talk. Well, you're going to be gone at the end of the year, so it doesn't matter.
True that.
And it's very much, not to say that this is an idea that has permeated the Sharks locker room at all, but Quinn is going to be here for at least 3 years. Like, so get on board or get out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
From the player perspective of the players, I mean.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Sharks, it seems like job one is learn how to play with a goddamn lead.
Yeah. I mean, they used to know how.
I don't know. It seems like it's been a while. I feel like we've had this as a talking point before.
Maybe.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, Sharks still haven't. Oh, no, they do have a regulation. Oh, no, not a regulation win because the win versus Toronto was OT, right? So, again, by Erik Karlsson.
They have one regulation win. It was against the Flyers.
Yeah, in Philly. So,
Correct.
Yeah, still got to get that first win at SAP this season. Yeah, team needs to learn how to hold a goddamn lead. And, of course, with that, social media is fun from time to time because of how silly it can go with all the people, again, trying to give the tongue lashing to Erik Karlsson. But now it's the calls to Couture needs the C stripped. He needs to be moved on. Now, why in the hell would you do that? Can you think of a certain reason? Any reason? I mean, they just finished a 6-game road or homestand, and he only talked to the media once. I don't know why that was. I don't know that it means anything. I'm just pointing out that it's something that happened, but I'm trying to understand that it's like, is it that EK is doing well, so they need a new whipping boy, and Couture is like the next contract?
Well, I think that's part of it. I certainly think there's a consideration there. I think also, like, just the fact that like the captaincy in the NHL is like super overvalued. Let's say you take the C off of Couture's jersey. Let's just say
do you think that has to do, or who the team is plays into that though? Like maybe it's not as big of a deal in San Jose as it is with a different squad. Like maybe in Boston or something.
But like pretty much around the league, the letters on the jerseys are pretty meaningless. Like the example that I would give is Blake Wheeler. Blake Wheeler was the captain of Winnipeg for 6 or 7 years, and they took the C off of him this past summer, and yeah, he just so happens to be third on their team in scoring, so can't be that much of an issue.
Well, and it's not as if the Sharks don't have a history for stripping Cs.
But even then, okay, so you take the C off of Couture and you put it on Karlsson's jersey, or you put it on Hurdle's jersey. Are they a better team all of a sudden? Are the players better? Do they have new players that I don't know about?
Exactly. So that's why I don't get the call.
There's only one sort of criticism I think with Logan Couture that you could add, and he's had a pretty slow start when it comes to the season. Yes, he's fourth on the team in scoring. He's got 8 points in 14 games, but that doesn't really get anywhere close to what he's done historically. I mean, that would bring him to 47 points, which is over the course of a full season, which would be his lowest in 10 years. So he's not been good, and I think you could make a pretty sound argument that he's been stapled with some wingers for the third year in a row, might I add, has been stapled with wingers who just aren't doing anything. Yeah. And I think that's a fair I think that's a fair criticism to make. But at the same time, a player that's as good as Couture is, you have to be able to succeed in spite of what you have.
I feel that. Oof. I don't know. It's tough. Now, again, social media, she's a fickle bitch some days. And the other thing that popped out, and I'm just going to throw this out. You can decide it's stupid and you're not going to answer it. You can decide it's stupid and you're still going to answer it. But one of the things that has come around is, as EK65 has playing to his contract, having redemption season, revenge tour, whatever you want to call it. If this continues, if the right offer comes down the pipe, do you deal EK65?
So the answer that I would give to that, is
Mitch Marner available?
Ew, I don't want him anywhere near this team. It's
well,
the same.
You know, a team that has good picks, prospects, cap space, primed for a run.
I would take William Nylander before I took Mitch Marner.
Okay, but you get what I'm saying is that
right.
With 4 years left, either the Sharks eat, $3.5 million.
The way that I answer this question is the same way that I answer the question about should the Sharks trade Timo Meier. Is how long do you think it's going to take for them to get back on track? Right? Because keep in mind, we're already 4 years in to the nonsense, if you will. So if next year is the final year of crap, and then in 2 years the Sharks are ready to contend for a playoff spot again, then no, you keep them, you hold on to them. But if we're 4 years in and Mike Grier thinks it's going to take another 4, dump him.
Solid. And
I feel the same way about Timo Meier. Saying you could apply that answer to both of them, and it's going to mean the same thing.
And well, the other thing too is, because we don't know, what if it's a case of Erik gets through the majority of this season, and the tea leaves he's reading is I am not going to have a shot here over the next 4 years. Get me the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I mean, certainly anything is possible. Do you want to know something that's just a little tasty piece of information, not meant to be anything other than just a
Whip it out.
Do you happen to know what team right now is looking for a right-handed defenseman?
All of them?
Ottawa.
Oh my God. How great would that be? A hero's welcome. Give us back Norris.
That would be spicy.
Oh, dude. But, it's not as if the Sharks don't have a long history of bringing back players they initially got rid of. So it could happen. Hold on. Well, wait a minute. Doesn't that also depend on how quick they can sell the Ottawa Senators to Ryan Reynolds?
Right. Yeah, I don't know. New money in there. Who knows?
Ooh, me likey.
I don't know. That's more just me bullshitting. I don't think there's anything to that.
That's fun. Look, on this homestand, again, there were some good things that you can take away from it. The special teams have started to wake up. The power play, 6 for 18, 33%. Not too shabby on the power play. Hopefully that continues. PK still remains hot. They killed 12 of 14. The goalie numbers need to improve. You can see that along the scroll at the top, but definitely a leap forward to where the season started. And do you fear, though, that like the Sharks are kind of turning a corner a little bit? And because, I mean, you think about it, 3 straight shootout losses. And I think for the most part, we're 14 games into this? I would say 11 of these, they've been in every one. They just couldn't find that one little piece. And what if they start to find that piece?
Yeah, I mean, it is something to think about, but at the same time, I kind of feel like everybody has been sort of playing above their head a little bit. I mean, you can ask the questions, what if the Sharks had another good defenseman beyond Erik Karlsson? What if the goalies were average? What if they had 6 top 6 forwards? I mean, who knows, right? But I don't know. I just look at the fact that, 3 games in a row, you scored 5 goals, then you scored 3 goals, then you scored 4 goals. There are a lot of teams who will win all 3 of those games.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the Sharks had the lead in all 3 of those games.
Right. And so, maybe the Sharks are in a position where they can stay in the fight a little bit longer, maybe. But at the end of the day, this team is not going to go anywhere substantial until a grenade is thrown on this blue line. And that's just a fact.
Dude, and how do you solve that? I mean, we saw what happened as soon as Ferraro goes down for any amount of time, or missing Vlasic for a period.
But even then, I know Ferraro, and again, we love Ferraro. He's a friend of the show, but Erik Karlsson is in a league completely high up on his own. And like Ferraro has been decent, Vlasic's been decent, Šimek I thought has been decent, but you sort of need a guy who falls in between those two tiers.
Mm-hmm.
And the Sharks don't have that. You need
and I think for what is asked of Megna, I think
I forgot Megna. Megna's been awesome.
Yeah, just it seems as though who wasn't Šimek for a while, the Wookiee Whisperer, and it seems like Megna has kind of filled that spot that Middleton had, where it's like he's the Karlsson Whisperer a little bit.
What if I told you?
Oh fuck, here we go.
That
Matt Benning has just been traded.
What if I told you that Megna is the only defenseman besides Karlsson that is plus? Sorry, the only regular defenseman besides Karlsson that is plus.
Oh, yeah, completely believe that. I mean, dude, that's just collateral damage there.
Well, I was going to say, it's like, it's a pretty sweet setup to play with Erik Karlsson. I mean, how many second assists is Megna going to get just by going D to D? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But
dude, they don't care just how many.
Right. And we ripped on Megna last year, and I think rightfully so. Ripped on him
a little bit.
But he's been really good this year. And now, if the Sharks are a Stanley Cup contender, do they want Megna and Karlsson as the top pair? I'm not totally sure about that, but there are worse setups to have. Well, I mean, if you could honestly, if you could have a situation like Karlsson Megna, I think that's fine as a top pair. If you could have a situation where Vlasic, and I think the big thing is Vlasic and Ferraro need to play separately, for one. And for two, they both each need their own competent defense partner, maybe somebody who's a little bit more offensive. And then you ride a Šimek as your seventh guy, and it's not perfect, but it's good. It's decent.
I mean, Šimek has this year and one more, right? Doesn't he have?
That is correct information.
So, just writing on what PJ48 is saying, Šimek might actually be tradable at this point. I mean, if the Sharks are out of this, Valentine's Day, like I'm not saying the E is right next to their name at that point, but if all the writing is on the wall, I mean, we've talked about Reimer getting moved for something. You've talked at length about moving Nieto whenever something comes down the pipe. Šimek could be a potential piece if he continues to come along, and then maybe that opens up a spot for whether it's Merkley or Pulio.
Who?
I know I'm not pronouncing that right. Derek Pouliot?
Oh, Pouliot.
Okay, see, I've heard the announcer thing that I have says Pulio.
I believe Kevin or Ian will have to confirm this. I believe Derek Pouliot's on an AHL only deal.
Oh, okay. Well, so fuck that guy. But either way, there's some pieces. Hatika.
I was gonna say you could just the way, and it's November. Should we be talking about next year? I don't know, but
dude, I'm talking about next February.
Right, but you're gonna have, as we've talked about all along, once the trade deadline comes and goes. I mean, as you mentioned, Harrington, Nieto, Bonino, just talking about guys who are going to get traded.
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe Gadjevich, maybe Svechnikov, maybe Gregor, maybe Timo Meier. Hopefully not.
So the fire sale.
Yeah, but you're gonna Nudavara if he can freaking get healthy. But
who?
You're gonna have by the trade deadline, by February, by March, like Bordeleau is gonna be up, Eklund is gonna be up. Hatka should be up. Ryan Merkley should be up. Aaron Dell will be up once Reimer's gone. I'm pretty convinced of that. So you're going to have guys who can come in there. And
how much longer's on Gregor's?
Gregor's going to be an RFA this summer.
Oh boy, that's gotta suck.
And I hate to say it, I wouldn't be surprised if the Sharks just let him go. As much as I hate to say it,
dude.
Going back to Šimek,
couldn't have kept Balsers and gotten rid of Gregor.
Well, AJ Balsers doesn't play the way that they want, allegedly.
But Gregor does.
Right. But Gadjevich does. Nieto does. But going back to Šimek, the other thing to keep in mind as well is once next summer comes around, and I know people are going to, be getting their fans and fanning themselves after I say this, but...
Are you about to bring up your second favorite player?
I am actually. A Šimek buyout is much more palatable. You know, for argument's sake, next season the cap hit would decrease from $2.25 million to $950,000.
Well, if that's an idea you're entertaining, then you're absolutely trying to see what you work in the phones.
Right, exactly. And you know, worst case scenario, if the Sharks end up buying out Šimek, as I said, it's not the end of the world. They're going to save like $1.5 million on the first year, and then the second year, yeah, you're getting a cap charge of $650,000. But if the tea leaves are to be believed, you know, the lofty, I don't want to say the lofty, the positive predictions for the salary cap have lately gotten even more positive just because of where the NHL's at with their revenue. That $650,000 could be nothing this time next year. Like that could be something you don't even think about.
Well, we see all the digital ads and the
digital ads, and you know the NHL is slowly getting into bed with gambling.
Oh, that's true. But you know, we talk about the ads, bro. Are you kidding me with this? This looks like shit.
Yeah, it's. I understand. Like, if teams want to make money, that's fine. I support it, but
oof.
I think there should be an exception for like the specialty jerseys.
Yeah, or at the least, like maybe you pull the patch off one of the shoulders and put the advertisement there or something.
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't know. I'm just yikes. The other thing, and then you talked about sports betting. It's become so popular that we've now switched from periods to quarters. If you're the Sharks, evidently.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that was about. I'm like, I know they're doing some interesting new things with the scoreboard, but it's a way.
You know, the NHL's trying to evolve. So.
How interesting would that be? Would you be interested to see it tried out at a certain level that we move, you know, from 20 to 15?
I just think with the way that hockey is played, how fast paced it is and how quick it goes by, like 15-minute quarters for hockey is just going to be a momentum killer, I think.
Oh, just kind of.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go to Hero and Zero. I don't have a thing for this yet. oh no, I can. Hero or zero. How's that?
Thank you to the Wizard of Oz.
Hey now. Thank you, Steven.
Yeah. Okay, I don't want to say Erik Karlsson because that's the sexy pick.
Well,
right?
It's the obvious pick.
Sure. Two things can be true. I think, you know what? I think it's, for me anyway, and if I steal your answer, I'm sorry.
Sure.
It's Alexander Barabanov.
There you go. Are you sure you're pronouncing that name correctly?
Yes. Only 6 assists in 10 games. I think you kind of want him to get to another level, but there's a lot of his, what he's done to generate offense that I think has been increasingly positive. Again, he's having to play with Couture, who looks like a shell of himself, and Nieto, who's not very good, and he's still making things happen. You know, he's actually dumping the puck in and chasing after it, which not a lot of guys on this team can say that they do, unfortunately. He's getting the puck to the net. He's getting shots on goal. He's kind of doing everything that you sort of want him to do. And I'm hoping that the dam is going to burst for him eventually. But, the other thing to keep in mind, and Drew Remenda even mentioned it last night on the broadcast, the sort of the knack on his game, if you will, is it's two things. It's getting knocked off the puck easily, and it's giveaways. And those are two things that he's cleaned up this year. And granted, yes, he's only played 10 games, but the things that he's needed to work on, he has worked on, and they've gotten better. And so for this week, especially just with how the Sharks have played, I thought, for somebody who doesn't really have a lot of points to show for it, I kind of feel like he had his hands in everything over the week.
And I feel like a guy like Barabanov is not someone that I see, whether it's called out on social media or in the broadcast. It's not a name that you frequently hear like, oh, fuck. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
well, and
you hear that with like Vlasic, or or Labanc, or there's definitely there you go. There's definitely some whipping boys in there, and Barabanov seems to be completely out of that talk.
Well, and he's got the, for goals, he's got the donut up right now, which again, you obviously want them to start going in, but the type of player that Barabanov is, like if he gets the end of the season, say he's only got 10 goals, that's fine because chances are he's going to have like 50 assists. So, it's all going to come out somehow.
All right, my hero of the week, and as you pointed out, EK being the obvious pick, I think Meyer is the sexy pick. I might go off board here, and I'm doing this specifically because I believe I had him as a 0 last week, and I'm not going to say that we have a crystal ball, but there have been times where we call out somebody in our Hero Zero segment, and for some reason, whatever it is, they all of a sudden start having success.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say for this week, Kevin Labanc. You're my hero this week because you've barked your way out of the doghouse. You're on the top line now, getting the looks. Got your first goal this week, and it was a good goal for the Maduel. So Kevin, you're a banker. Keep it going. Make the most of this opportunity with Hurdle and Meyer. I beg of you, sir.
Well, and like we've said all along, right? Like Labanc, people like to bag on Labanc and call him out, and we did it last week. We were very bearish on Labanc last week, but as we've talked about all pretty much the last 2 years, I think, like Labanc is no good to the Sharks if he's not playing well. And I know that sounds like a really stupid, obvious like statement to make, and maybe it is, but.
Yeah, but there are other guys that go in slumps. They can still be, defensively responsible. They can break up things that, don't end up in the back of your net. Excuse me. But Labanc, yeah, it's very much kind of like, I'm not saying he doesn't play a two-way game, but you definitely see it when he's not playing a two-way game.
Right, exactly. And the people say, oh, Labanc sucks. You need to get rid of him. He can't do anything. It's like, no, like... There's a lot of circumstances that have prevented him from playing well, obviously himself being one of them, but there's a lot of outside circumstances as well. And so we've talked about it, especially last year we talked about it. It's kind of where Jam Job Bob came from. But like a guy like Kevin Labanc, he's no good to you in the bottom six. He's no good to you. He's no good to you playing with Nick Bonino and Andrew Cogliano, right? Like you have to play him with good players. Like we talked about at the top of the show, you want a good player to play good, play them with good players, other good players. Like it sounds so simple, but like it is,
It's not a difficult concept to grasp.
Right. And he's one of those guys where because of the talent and the skill he has, you have to give him a longer leash. You can't, if he goes one game when he's -2, you can't just yank him off the line. You have to give him a longer leash because of the skill he has.
I believe that's called the Gregor leash.
Right.
You're 0 for the week.
So I'm not going to say Nieto and I'm not going to say Benning because number one, I've said them before. Number two, those are the sexy picks for 0.
And to be fair, I think Benning took enough pain this week.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know. It's, again, it's kind of hard for me to say, well, actually, you know what? No, I got one. And again, I hate to even do this, but Mario Ferraro.
Oh,
because and it has nothing to do with him getting injured, but like let's just look at the facts. He's the worst plus-minus player on the team. And I know plus-minus doesn't always mean shit, but like his D partner doesn't even have as bad a plus-minus as he does. Like and not only that, but in his rookie year, I remember, giving commendation for Ferraro because of the way he was able to skate and push and push offensive players along the glass and sort of stifle the chance that they're trying to create. I thought his rookie year he was really incredible defensively, and this year I haven't seen it at all. He's gotten walked multiple times. He doesn't have in my eyes, he doesn't have that same intensity in sort of pushing guys over to the boards to sort of stifle their offensive chance. He's either getting walked or they're just shooting it right past him. And it's just, I don't know. It almost feels, I don't want to say he's taken a step back, but on some level I think he has. but it's more so that he hasn't taken that next step forward, right? And it's really concerning because obviously he just signed the extension and you expect him to sort of be Vlasic 2.0. And right now there needs to be a lot of improvement if we want that to happen.
Yeah. My zero, just mentioned him, Noah Gregor. You got a shot this week against Florida. And if you can't get in the lineup against Anaheim, what the hell, dude? It makes me wonder, like, what Quinn is seeing that he's just like, yeah, no, like, for some whatever reason, Gregor is, not as good, or I don't know, the same as a Nieto or a Lindblom.
I also don't think Gregor has really gotten a fair chance.
I completely agree. That's why and again, it comes back to the whole whipping boy thing. Who was Bugner's whipping boy?
Gregor.
Yeah. So it just makes me wonder.
Dolan. I mean,
it was Balsers, dude. Now, I remember Balsers. How many times did we bitch about him not being on the power play?
Dude, you straight up Bob lied to you. Like, can we just call it what it is?
Bugner,
he was like, this motherfucker AJ. I don't even know what. I've never even heard of this guy. Like he's probably like, yeah, I'll just give this guy lip service. Maybe I'll just give this guy lip service and maybe he'll leave me alone.
Oh man. All right. And anything around the NHL aside from the stand, dude? What the fuck is going on with Calgary? That team is falling off a goddamn cliff.
I mean, the word kind of around the street has been that Huberdeau has not really played all that well to start the season. I mean, he's only coming off of 115 points last year, and he's only on pace for 41 this year. So that's not good.
Conversely, what the hell's going on with Seattle, dude? A 4-game win streak. Dude, Martin Jones had a fucking shutout this week, dude. What the hell is going on with the Kraken?
Honestly, I can't really explain it. I mean, just we kind of talked about it over the summer too. The Kraken, they're pretty deep at forward. The question was going to be, can they outscore their defensive mistakes? And so far, it appears that they've been able to. But I don't know, with situations like that. I mean, remember Anaheim last year? Like, they were like, their defense was brutal, but they just scored so many goals that it didn't matter. And eventually they came back down to earth. I think with the Kraken, you're going to see the same thing.
Oh, man. Dude, it's like, in what world do we live in that the Kraken are on a 4-game win streak and St. Louis is on a 6-game losing skid? Like, this is the weirdest week or so of hockey that I've seen in the West in quite some time. This is, I don't.
Well, I feel like the first month of every NHL season is always weird. Like every year,
you always have a couple weird anomalies that you go, okay, this will shake out in the wash.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm not gonna get into the what's the kid's name? The whole Boston thing.
Yeah, if you want to, I mean,
I don't care.
A handful of Teal Town individuals have put their opinions on Twitter. If you're really interested, you can check them out there.
Yeah, I'm not diving into that crap. The offer was given 2 days later. It's rescinded, so it's already off my radar.
You want to know a spicy piece of information here?
Bring it on.
So as we know, Jonathan Dahlen, remember him? Famously, instead of taking an NHL contract for some reason, Jonathan Dahlen famously went back to his hometown team. No longer in the Swedish second tier league. They are now in the Swedish Hockey League. So, congratulations for them. 13 points in 17 games for Jonathan Dahlen.
Boy,
so you may look at that. Well, you may look at that and you may say, "Oh, wow, yeah, he's playing really well. Like maybe he can parlay that into an NHL a 1-year deal next year." He signed a 5-year contract with Timura, so
yeah, he's done.
Yeah, I don't think he's coming back unless it's like when he's a grizzled veteran.
How's Sasha looking?
Sasha has played really well too. I kind of feel as though he's maybe cooled off ever so slightly, but even then, 17 points in 26 games, that's not nothing. He's got 10 goals. I mean,
the Sharks do they carry the option to pull him back, or he's locked into a deal there?
So he's his deal with UFA, it's only a 1-year deal, so it's for this year. but he's a restricted free agent. So
I guess Big Bird isn't interested in the lunchbox. Go ahead.
So if say the Sharks wanted to bring Chmelevski back to North America, he would have to once his KHL season is over, which if say his team wins the KHL championships, that would probably be in May. Which are the Sharks gonna be playing in May? Doubtful. But say they wanted to bring him back to North America this year, he would have to sign a contract because he's an NHL RFA right now.
Got it. Oh, man. Well, speaking of Sasha and all these other ones, let's talk about that other team for a hot minute.
Ooh, Barracuda.
So the CUDA got fucking smoked earlier today in the only game that they've played this week. A very light week for them. One game in Calgary versus the Wranglers. They lost 8-2. I guess the good thing that you can take away from this is that Robbins had 2 points, including a goal. Eklund got on the board. Ryan Merkley got on the board. So I guess you can say, well, there's that. But on the flip side, of course, is Aaron Dell got pulled. He got yanked. I guess we'll see what happens on Tuesday when the CUDA face the Wranglers again. If Makaniemi is going to start that one after, I don't know, Dell is still picking up the pieces. It's a heavy week for the Barracuda. They're going to play the Wranglers again on Tuesday. Then they return to Tech CU for a 4-game homestand, including one versus the Ontario Reign, who are doing well, and then a pair versus the Colorado Eagles. So since that hot 4-0 start, they have 3 regulation losses now, and a shootout loss. And you can't even blame the Sharks for pillaging their cabinet. Like nobody's been called up yet. So what's going on with the CUDA? How do you go from 4-0 to?
Well, I think it's just.
Are we ready to give McCarthy a pink slip? What's going on?
No, and obviously, Ian and Kevin and Mark, they could speak to this much more than I could, but
I think they did a couple days ago, right?
Yeah, they did. Last Wednesday, the 3 of them, they spoke about the Barracuda, the prospects, all that kind of stuff. So it's on our YouTube if you want to check it out. Those 3 guys, they do good work, and you definitely want to give that a look. What I would have to say is, I think the Pacific Division for the AHL, like I would say it's probably a really competitive division.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's bound to happen, right? Where you're just going to see teams sort of up and down. And, the Silver Knights, are kind of the exception. They're really brutal. But, 8 of the 10 teams are either 500 or close to 500. So it's kind of been all over the place for the Pacific Division in the AHL. But I think, I don't know, these kinds of things happen. If, the Barracuda could just as easily go on a 5-game rip here and we're not even going to be thinking about this. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, either way, look forward to that homestand. In fact, if memory serves, that game against Ontario, I will be there. Looking forward to it. It's fun atmosphere there at Tech CU. So more people should check it out. God damn it. Oh, shall we move on to your favorite segment and mine? Tweet of the week. Crap, that's annoying. Yeah, let's turn that off. All right, I put this up only because the NHL is going, the year of EK65 continues. The year? Guys, it's been a couple weeks. Pump the brakes. That's all I'm saying. But one of our favorite viewers goes by the name of, say it with me now, Noel. Sent in this video, dude. Check this out. Pay particular attention to the glove. This is a new way to make a glove save in hockey, evidently.
Panther, wir schauen noch mal auf diese Szene. Florian Vogel verliert seinen Fanghandschuh. Legt ihn natürlich dann genau in die Mitte und die Scheibe.
Oh, nice.
Theiße.
Are you kidding me?
Hey, you know what? Leave no stone unturned.
Dude, that's just never going to happen again in my lifetime. But really one of the coolest things. Let's get to this Lunchbox giveaway. Do
Do we have a jingle for this?
Don't make me turn on that echo again. So the Lunchbox.
How we doing that? Is there a question? Are we doing a straw poll? How are we doing this?
No, I'll tell you, but I just want to let you know there are things in here.
Oh shit.
Dude, it's not an empty lunchbox like mine is with the way Erik is playing. But there are things in here. You can see there's a Doug Wilson banner. There's a Barracuda towel. There's a holiday hurdle bobblehead.
Wow.
There's a Sharks fanny pack. There are things up in here. So this seemed now you tell me if I'm wrong and we'll change it. All right. Sure. I figured the most equal way to do it, nobody can like get on YouTube or Wikipedia or whatever and try to look up shit. How about if you're interested, you hit up Hockey Jerk on email.
Oh no.
Yeah, because he loves to create spreadsheets for this type of shit.
You know it. I'm already starting.
So how about whoever comes closest
without going over?
Yeah, closest without going over. The Sharks play 3 games this coming week: Thursday, Friday, Sunday, and which of course means it's a Pucknologist takeover. Jerk's favorite.
Boo!
So, how about this? Whoever comes closest without going over to the team GAA and save percentage. So, because we don't know if Reimer's starting all 3, we don't know if Kakinen's starting all 3, we don't know who.
Interesting.
All I'm looking for is the closest to the goals against average and save percentage.
And you're talking compounded over the 3 games, right?
Yes, over those 3 games. Because right now it says Reimer over this time, 910 with a 2.88, and Kakinen 878 with a 3.62 goal, goals against. So there you go. And should there be a tiebreaker or something in there? Dude, the idea that somebody like we might have the same goals against average, but there's no way that's also going to be the same save percentage as well.
Yeah, maybe.
Or should we just go with save percentage and then goals against is the tiebreaker?
Yeah, that's probably the best way to do it.
All right then.
Unless you really want to get crazy and like
I feel like this is already bordering on psycho.
I don't know. I mean, if you want to get really crazy, you could have them pick like, oh, okay, so like, what's the, and obviously you'd have to get your answers in by Wednesday night or Thursday morning. But like, what's the splits gonna be? Like, 3 games, who's getting the starts? Like, is it Reimer, Kakinen, Reimer?
I think we'd have a lot of ties though.
Well, yeah, okay, that's a good point.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying I think it's just what is the collective save percentage and goals against average over the 3 games? Does that sound like a deal? So what email address do they need to hit you up at?
It's going to be hockey, and this is all one word, hockeyjerk10@gmail.com. Please, you don't have to give me your government name. You can give me a bullshit alias if you really want to. But if you win,
we have to send it to somebody.
I'm going to email you back and let you know, hey, you won. So don't be asleep at the wheel, or we're going to go to the next person.
Yeah. And I should also get
your entries in by Thursday puck drop, we'll say.
Yeah. Or by pregame.
Sure.
The one caveat, I hate to do this to you, but it's the world we live in. You have to live in the 48 U.S. Now, if you're outside of there, if you're in Canada, if you're one of our friends in Europe or Australia, because we see the metrics, we know we have some friends that are outside the U.S. 48. If you win, we will give you and you're outside the U.S. 48. If you win, we will give you the option to cover the freight, and I'll send it to you.
There you go. And just so we're clear again. So save percentage is the contest. Goals against average is the tiebreaker.
Sure.
Okay. I feel like save percentage is easier to guess.
Yeah. That's why I went that way. So there you go. And like I said, this Lunchbox box has a lot of fun little goodies in it. And that's not to say that there's not something else that might get put into it before it leaves. I'm just saying. We have coasters, for Christ's sakes.
Well, and again, not to pee in your sink or anything, but I don't know about you, but I'm finally after 3.5 months, I'm finally starting to organize my home office, and I'm realizing there's a lot of things I have that maybe it's not as important to me to keep as it once was.
I know.
So,
are we gonna do like the 12 shows of Christmas?
Something like that, or you know what? Depending on how much stuff I can unearth, like we might be doing giveaways once a week.
Hell yeah! All right, so
hey, another reason to come back Sunday night at 7 p.m. Pacific.
Yeah, that's unless there's a takeover, which there is next week, so we're gonna be on a little earlier. So,
hey, you know what? Being on earlier, I support it. Being on later,
fuck you.
We'll cross that bridge.
All right. So the Sharks are going to start a 4-game road trip this Thursday in St. Louis versus an ice cold, we're talking frigid Blues squad. They've lost 6 straight after starting out 3-0. They're at the bottom of the Central. Nobody saw that coming. Yes, this is the same division, by the way, that has Arizona going 3-6 right now. So basically the same record. The next night, they're going to face Joe Pavelski and the division-leading Dallas Stars, currently 8-3-1. And then on Sunday, the Sharks will finish at least the week, not the road trip, but the week for us, against Minnesota, currently 5-5-1, although that may have changed early. In fact, all these records may have changed since, because I think I wrote them down yesterday, and I have no idea who played today. I was busy. So either way, you guessed it. It's a Pucknologist takeover. What time does that Minnesota game start anyway?
3 p.m. Pacific.
Oh! Holy crap.
So
that means we're going to be on about 5:45. Is that about right?
I was going to say that leaves us a choice. We start at 6 or
no. We start when the game is over.
5:30, bitches.
Well, I don't know, dude. They've been going to a shootout a lot lately.
need to be in bed by a tight 8:30.
So tight. Love it. So yeah, we're going to be on a little earlier than usual. And hey, come in and find out who won the lunchbox full of goodies. And during that time, hey, remember to check out our post-game casts every week. We got Landy, Puck Guy, Dana, Mark, Ian. Who knows who could show up at those things? I don't know, but it happens after every single Sharks game that is played. You can follow him at hockey_jerk. You can follow me at AJ_strong. Remember to leave your take in the comments section of this YouTube video if you were not able to join us live. And if you have anything you want Jerk and I to dive into, by all means, hit it in the chat or throw it in the comments section or hit us up on Twitter at Pucknologists. So, famous last words, sir.
Famous last words. I am opening my email right now, and we're going to see if anybody has already sent me something. No, they have not. You're all slackers.
Oh, camper move, people.
Yes. Okay. So right now, if you're listening on delay, I'm sorry, this isn't for you. But if you're listening live, it is November 6th, 2022, 8:18 p.m. You have, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4. You've got about 92 hours. 90 hours.
What do you got there, numbers?
To email me your picks for the contest. And as soon as I get your email, you'll be on the spreadsheet. You don't need to worry about it. Alex Beltran claims he just sent me an email. We're going to get a little refresh. I don't see it.
Give it a minute.
Yeah. Just a reminder, hockeyjerk10@gmail.com.
And check your spam. Spam catcher. I'm just saying.
Yes, but
shoe shine. Hit rewind, buddy. We're giving away a lunchbox. Rewind it if you want to hear how to get it.
A lunchbox plus some other goodies. Don't forget the goodies.
All the goodies that are inside.
But I'm going to be checking and we're going we're going to reveal the contest on next week's show at some point, the contest winner, that is. And again, depending on how many things I can unearth, we might do a 12 days of Pucknologists Christmas or, holiday, whatever you celebrate. We don't judge. Might be a weekly giveaway thing. There's a lot of options, the reasons to come back. That's my long-winded version of saying that.
I'm going to throw this out. You can put it in the chat or put it in the comment section if you weren't able to join us live. But this is the thing I want to know. Because for the last 2 weeks, we've all been praying to the fountain of Erik Karlsson. He's killing it. Do you think Erik Karlsson will continue his current tear and he's finally back to form and he's going to challenge for that Norris? Or do you think this is an anomaly and he'll be back to the EK65 that Sharks fans have become accustomed to the previous 3 years? Leave it in the comment section. Let us know. Tell us right now in the chat. Jerk, what do you think?
You know what? As we talked about earlier, his ice time deployment is a little bit different, which I think is in his favor. And to me, there's no reason. Yes, is he gonna continue to average 4 points a game? I'm not totally convinced of that, but I think at the way things are going right now, just in terms of his ice time, in terms of his health and deployment and all that kind of stuff, he's going to continue to score at a above average pace, a Norris Trophy pace, I would say. I mean, really the only kind of thing that's going to jam him up is going to be his health. And so you just have to hope that holds up and that the worst is truly behind him.
Yeah, for me, it's is he going to continue the tear or is he going to go back to form? Jerk, I have 3 words for you. I am unsure. Just saying. And now we get some more coming in from Jesse. Our thoughts on Noah Gregor. Did we go back in time or something? What did we not talk about him 20 minutes ago? Where you at, buddy?
Hey,
the great thing about these podcasts is that you can go back and listen to them from the beginning. It's awesome. So
yeah, I mean, you know what, and that's the like you said, if you're late, catch the replay on YouTube, Apple Podcasts,
hell yeah,
Spotify, SoundCloud for some reason. There's options, but to offer the the TLDR thought. I really like the player. I don't think he's gotten a fair opportunity to show what he's got, but at the same time, the games he has played, he hasn't made a difference.
Yeah, do something, Gregor. Have to get the stick, start poking you with it. Remember to click like on this video if you liked it. Click subscribe if you didn't. Remember to subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on social media. And if you listen to the podcast on something like any of the apps that Jerk just named, whatever it is, help us out. Subscribe to that content. Leave the review if possible. And you can find links to our social media, podcast apps, and more in the included show notes. And in fact, I think I'm going to have to drop in Hockey Jerk's email there. As always,
hockeyjerk10@gmail.com. Alex Beltran's email has come through. You do not get bonus points for being first, but it shows that you are committed to winning the contest, and we appreciate it.
You care, is what we're saying. And so we care about you.
There you have it.
You're buying that bullshit, right?
Of course.
As always, find everything on tealtownusa.com. Dude, under 90. I'm impressed. I am impressed. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Whatever you're doing. Could be both. But thanks for hanging out with us this Sunday. We'll see you next Sunday following Sharks versus Wild. So we're going to be on just a scotch earlier. Have a great end of your weekend. And hey, Tennessee and Kansas City are tied at 17 with 48 seconds left in the fourth quarter. So go enjoy that for a minute. See you next week.